Do you feel the vibes?
Hey, GNT, episode 129. You see your boys already on the screen. You already know exactly what it's hitting for. Joel, I think it's time for a Phillies special type of night. Just me and you, bro. All Philadelphia, all night long. Pause. Sorry. What's going on, GNT family? And what's going on, Joel? How you feeling today, bro?
All good, all good, all good. Shout out to everyone that's joining the show today. GNT Sportstalk. Let's get it, baby.
Hey, look, by the way, your captain speaking. Welcome aboard episode 129. 129. We had 129 episodes, which is all crazy to me. And I cannot wait to get into our conversation tonight. Unfortunately, we are one man short. Tone had other situations, and well, my man had to make some money. He had work, so he wasn't able to join us tonight. But it's okay, Tone. Don't worry about it. We're gonna hold down the fort. You got nothing to worry about, brother. So just keep on holding on and doing what you do. It's good to see you. Good to see you. Hi, right back to you. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, so look, let's get right into it. First things first, Joel, we usually, right in as soon as April begins, we go right into our Autism Awareness Month type conversation. Usually have our special guests and stuff like that. But right now, because literally it just dropped today, like it being the first, it being April Fool's Day, we didn't want to go ahead and start off the month on this day. So we're going to go ahead and continue our conversation of just autism awareness going on next month. Next week. So that's when we officially going to go ahead and start having those conversations, those deep conversations about Autism Awareness Month. But don't worry about it just because we're not doing it today. We also want to make sure Tone was here too. It's important to have the one individual, the one parent that's part of the panel that has a child with autism. To be here with us as well. So we can go ahead and really dive into how it's been for him since last year at this time into this year as him being a parent with a child with autism, as well as our guest that we're going to have as well. So just look forward to our conversations going on soon when it comes to that awareness, because it's something that's near and dear to the GNT crew, and we want to make sure that we continue that conversation. So don't worry about it. The conversation is going to happen soon. But right now, we have a fight that's about to happen. Joel, what is the details that we need to go ahead and talk about? Because they are already hyping up this thing individually already.
Oh, yeah, man. It's official. It's official. Jerron Boot Tennis from Philadelphia will be taking on Xander Zayas in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center, June 27th. And man, this is a must-see fight. Due to the fact that you got a young Puerto Rican champion in Xander, 23 years old. He's 23 with 23-0, 13 knockouts, taking on 28-year-old Boots, Jerron Boot Tennis. You guys know who he is here from Philly. Both for the tail of the tape, obviously, they're both right there at the same height, 5'10", 5'10". But Boots has the 35 victories with 31 by knockout. So this is going to be a very, very must-see, very, very good fight, but must-see. And, like it says, pursuit of greatness. And that's exactly what it is for these two individuals. And man, I can't be more than happier for obviously Jerron Boots. As you guys knows, we got a little ties with him. And man, I can't wait to see this fight. I will be in attendance, by the way, for sure.
Not
Sure.
Not surprised
I
at
will
all.
be there.
At all. Not surprised. Not surprised. I do my best. Where everything is going on with my family, I do my best to be there too. But yeah, this is definitely going to be a fight that's going to be worth watching, because you have, basically when you look at the two men together, there's not one that you can say like has the advantage over the other when it comes to just stature and size. They both size-wise almost look exactly the same. Sarah, how you doing? It's good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Like they're the same stature, the same size, same everything. So therefore, like that's not going to be anything that's going to be off-putting. They're both great fighters, great styles. In fact, I believe their styles is pretty close too. Pretty daggone close. Yes. Thank you. Sarah, you need to be here more often with us. Every Wednesday we are here, and I need you to be here with us as well. Okay. So yes, let's follow her lead. She was the first like, and how dare y'all not like us first? So thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that. And yes, like and subscribe. I appreciate you so much, Sarah. Appreciate you so much. Yeah, be there with us. All right. So yeah, so this fight is one of the ones that we definitely wanted to see. We wanted to go and have that type of, like that type of fight actually be there for us. Hey, first things first, how you doing? You guys know what y'all, that people are not interested in sports and live because the guys like to talk. Well, here's the thing, right? And you're right. It's okay. We like to talk sports, and we like to talk sports, especially on Wednesdays. We chose this day to be the day for us, because the people that we love and the people that we talk to and the people that we see when we go out on different shows and when we go out to go and watch live Eagle games and stuff, those guys like to see us on Wednesdays as well. So that's a day that we chose. And hey, look, both myself, Joel, as well as Tone have a very hectic schedule. And we deal with a lot of stress and all that stuff. And no problem. It's all good. It's all good. You don't have to say sorry. You're good. This is our getaway. This allows us to get away from our, the hustle and bustle of life and be able to actually be there for, like, with y'all guys to talk something that's dear to us that always goes on. So no, it's all good. We're not worried about the people. We ain't worried about all that stuff. Look, if you come in here and enjoy a show with us, then that's all it's about. And thank you so much for the sub. That's right. I need you to go ahead and sub. And you don't got to worry about saying sorry. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Plus, I mean, in the bad way. I want people to come and watch y'all. Appreciate it. No, we definitely appreciate it. And to be honest with you, like, it being live is kind of tough sometimes, and we know that already. But we have a nice amount of folks that go ahead and watching us on Instagram as well. So we have Instagram going on right now, as well as the people later on that will actually watch this whole entire show later on. So it's all good. It's all good. I just want to thank you for being part of the show. And hey, look, it's okay. We're gonna rock out with y'all if it comes down to it. So anyway, Joel, I know it's some stuff that you wanted to show, because you said they're already hyping up themselves right now.
Listen, this fight just got announced and it's already blowing up on social media. But more importantly, the challenger and the champion, because Xander is the champion. They're fighting for 2 belts. But they're already going back and forth. And I mean, hey, look, instead of me telling you guys about it, Larry dropped the video.
Got stopped by Hopkins. Cotto got lost to Mayweather, and all the way back to Wilfred Benitez. He lost to Sugar Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns. How is it going to be different for you, and how are you rewriting history?
Respect to all those legends, but I'm Xander Zayas. I write history, and I'm going to do it one more time come June 27th. He's a good fighter. But I don't think he's a great fighter. He's never been uncomfortable. He's always had it his way. He's always, had fighters that put up a little bit of a fight and then they quit. It's easy to face guys that you're bigger than them, you're more athletic than them. But when you're facing a guy that is as big as you, that is as athletic as you, that is as composed, as smart as you, I'm gonna rip his heart out. I'm gonna take him. I'm gonna take him to somewhere he's never been. He's gonna feel uncomfortable. He's gonna be uncomfortable when it comes to fight night. When you have a young champion that is willing to risk everything to go in there, man, that's scary. And he has me now in front of him, and he's gonna have to adjust because he's gonna be really, really uncomfortable come fight night. He will see why this 23-year-old is a unified world champion.
You ain't gonna do. Ooh, well, we know how you feel about it, Larry.
It's all right. We have someone that's on our show that's always supports and watches the Seahawks. So we need you to support him whenever he's on here, because we do talk a lot of trash Seahawks versus the Eagles all the time. So yeah, we need you to go ahead and be here. Sarah, you have yourself a great night. You go ahead and take care. Thank you so much for being in. And she said, by the way, this is our first time watching this, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. Thanks for the likes, and thanks for trying to lead the party to go ahead and like the show. I'm sorry. So go ahead, Joel.
Listen, man, Xander said a lot. There was a lot to unpack there, but listen, like, obviously, he's 23. He's the champion. He's confident. He definitely has the skill, and he's in, upward trajectory in his career and doing all those things. But I just think, like when you got your kids, I got my kids, when they start saying the little stuff that they bit off a little more than they can chew. I think this is going to be going to eat a can of humble soup for sure. That's my prediction. Obviously, I'm going for Jaron Booth Tennis. I think he's going to come out victorious that day. I think it is going to end early. I would say probably not. I don't even want to say early. I think it's not going to go past the 8th round. That's my prediction already for the fight. But I just think, there's a lot. Again, like I said, there's a lot to unpack there. He hasn't fought anyone, this and that. That's typically like the first thing anyone says when they talk about Jaron Booth Tennis. But you only can fight whoever's willing to fight you. You only can fight whoever's in front of you. So this is going to be one of many of next opponents that he's going to be across from that is of the caliber of Xander Zayas or better. And we're going to see, man. I think I don't even want to say I think. I pretty much can say I know that Jaron Booth Tennis will be victorious on June 27th and by knockout.
Wow. Okay. So
but
you're not saying
again,
that he's
I'm not saying anything that, look, I could talk about it, but I'll let him tell you. So drop the video, Blair.
What kind of Jaron can we expect against Xander Zayas?
You're going to see whatever I want to. You're going to see whatever. Any and everything. The boxing, walking down, the sharp IQ, defense, speed. Like I said, it's going to end however I want it to end. I'm having my way with these guys, straight like that.
Wow. The confidence in that man always. Every time we even we hear him speak, or like on a personal note, from you, Joel, because of the connections that you have, when you hear about him and his work ethic, it's always top notch. His confidence is high, so that's what's needed, especially for a fight in what he's about to have back in now in June.
Right. And the thing is he's talking about it, but things that to pick up on the video, he's talking about it with a smile because the time it's just time. Like, you know what I mean? A lot of people give him a lot of crap, specifically because of the resume and him not fighting specific opponents or worthy opponents to each and every, but in the lens that people want to see. But there's a lot to boxing, and we've learned that since we've been doing this podcast and having trainers on, having pro boxers on, and, getting familiar with the sport a little bit more and diving deeper and knowing that it really takes two teams, not two fighters, two teams to make a fight. You got the promotion team, You got, then you got the coaches and the trainers and all that stuff. And then you got the fighters. It's not just the fighters making these decisions. So a lot of people can make a deal when it makes sense. A lot of people can't when it doesn't make sense for, various reasons. But, again, going back to that interview specifically, what sticks out to me is the smile on his face, because I just feel like he's just finally happy that he has the opponent where everybody's going to say, hey, he's worthy, blah, 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 all that stuff. And in everyone's lens is someone that, is very good and is going to look good on the resume. He's 23-0, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So look, man, again, a lot to unpack from everything that Xander said, but again, like he's 23. I just think I'm not saying that he's not ever going to be great or anything like that. I just think is levels, and I think that night is going to show that Booth's been around a little longer, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. But more importantly, man, again, going back to that interview and just seeing the smile, it's like finally I got the fight to prove to everybody in the boxing world that he's a problem. You know what I mean? And he's going to show it that night.
So here's the thing, right? We, because of experience, naturally, we're going to go ahead and ride with Boots. Also, too, we just fans. We're a fan of Boot Ennis. We believe in the boxer and the skill set that he has. But if there was a fighter that will give him a problem that's out here right now, it would be the man that he's about to face right here in June. So this will be definitely a good fight for us to go ahead and see, especially up close and personal, to go and see exactly how it's going to turn out, watch the skills, watch the corners as well, watch the teams, like you said, to see exactly how they strategize. Because it's funny, watching the fight, on TV, it's totally different than watching it live and actually seeing how, how the team actually reacts and stuff like that. It's great. It's a really big like chess match. So it's a good thing to see, especially live. So when y'all peoples get the information, you want to see something good, go watch this bout. Go watch this bout live. It's going to be right here in Philly. It's going to be worth it. It's definitely going to be worth it.
No, it's in Brooklyn and Barclay.
Oh, Brooklyn, my fault.
Barclay. Yep. But that's driving distance, man. At first, because in the beginning, like not even a month back, a few weeks back, they were trying to get the Virgil Ortiz fight with Boots. So when they were talking about that, I was like, damn, that's definitely going to be, that had Las Vegas written all over it. Or maybe, in Texas or something. So I'm like, damn, that's definitely going to be a travel fight, like on a plane type time. So, as soon as that fight kind of like fell apart, with the whole thing that Virgil Ortiz got going on with Golden Boy and Oscar right now, they put this fight quickly together. And, shout out to Xander. He was the one that actually pushed to get the fight and make the fight happen. So shout out to him and his team. Boots just moved up to 154. He had one fight there. Xander's been at 154. He holds 2 belts. So, he has a lot to risk, but at the same time, he's not, gun shy, or he's not shying away from the competition, and salute to him. And again, man, I just think that the age is going to come into play, but he is a worthy opponent and stuff like that. So hopefully that's not going to be the narrative, when Bootsy comes out victorious, where it's like, oh, he fought Xander, but he was young. You know what I mean? Because that'll be the next thing. But look, man, I just think, just looking at both fighters and looking at how they were, and and their opponents, Xander does have better opponents on his resume. We went back and forth on this when I was in Costa Rica with my cousin Ed. We were going back and forth because he was, defending Xander's resume. I was defending Boo's resume, and we going back and forth and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, man, look, the line is drawn in the sand. We're going to see who comes out victorious, and you already know me and Ed got a bet going on too. So we're going to see what's going on. Yep.
So once again, that's the fight that we're referring to. Boots Ennis versus Mr. Xander. It's going to be a good fight. But speaking of fights, we got to talk about this, man. Speaking of fighting, and it's not really fighting, but the gridiron is nothing but fighting. And there's a whole bunch of rule changes that just dropped like within the last number of hours. Now, here's the great thing, right? I had a crazy day at work today. And also, I'm watching my wife recover from her surgery. So, there's a lot of news when it comes to like this conversation that I have not heard. So, this is all going to be news to me, and it's definitely going to be talk worthy for me right now. And wherever what my reaction is going to be right off the dome right now. And then y'all can tell me if I'm stupid or not. So it's all right. I'll take it. Pause when it comes to this conversation. So, Joel, the stage is on you, but the lights is on you right now. Hit me with these rule changes and we'll talk about it all together.
All right. The first one that dropped was anytime onside kick. So, last year they said the team had to be down or going into the fourth quarter to do the onside kick.
Right.
So that one is anytime the team kicking can declare that they want to do an onside kick. So that one's whatever.
Okay.
It's a rule change, whatever.
It's back in the day rules again.
Right. The other one, which they didn't specify, was eliminating the incentive from the kicking team to kick off from the 50-yard line. You know how they kick it out of balance?
Yeah.
So they won't return it.
Uh-huh.
So apparently they did away with that. I don't know what that looks like. It didn't really elaborate on it, but that's another rule change. But the biggest rule change, which this is where you're going to chime in definitely, the NFL will have the ability to step in if a player gets ejected and overturn. You know how a ref, like last year, it happened to DK Metcalf when he had the incident with the fan and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That whole thing. So those type of things where the NFL is going to be able, in addition to that, any game changing plays that were wrong and the ref said, hey, it was a first down and it wasn't, or, well, they already got that imaginary line, there on the screen and stuff like that. But
Right.
any game changing plays that affect the outcome of a game, from the up top, they're going to be able to call it in and change the play. And I'm like, hey, you didn't get this right. So that one right there is the one.
Whoa. So how soon? I'm assuming that there has to be but I'm assuming that has to be immediate, right? Play happens immediately. They have to say something.
They really specified that it's during the game changing plays. So I would say last minute drives. You know what I mean? So for instance, what I'm thinking is, how I think it was the Rams game where Puka caught the pass and they didn't think he was in, but he was in, or like they rule it a catch and then they're on that 2-minute warning type thing. So they're like they're out of challenges or something to that effect. That's what I'm assuming, but I don't know how it's going to play out, but that's definitely the biggest rule change in the NFL, where the NFL up top can go in and change a play.
Yo.
Overturn it specifically said overturn an incorrect play, like something that the ref said that was good. So it's going to be crazy, man.
I'm hoping it goes both ways. You know what I mean? So if they call pass interference on something, and then the NFL said like, no, that was not pass interference, change it.
Right.
If it goes both ways, that's dangerous, man. That's real dangerous because sometimes most of these calls that's called feels very opinionated.
Right.
They don't feel real. They feel opinionated. And now you really going to put the hands of like the game into people's hands other than the players.
Right. Which is the biggest concern for me with all this sports betting and all that stuff, where these lines are moving and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, I feel like that call is going to be predicated on how much money is on which way.
Yes.
That's just me overthinking stuff, bro. Like I always look at that. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how it's going to play out. And again, even that other rule change that they had, I was sitting there, I'm like, yo, what do they really mean by, you know, there's no incentive of the kicking team kicking? I guess you know what though? Ain't it different if they do a touchback versus uh if it goes out of bounds or they kneel down in the end zone, ain't it a different line right now? I know
If
it's 25 or the 30,
it's
right?
25 or the 30, right?
Right. So I think one of them is like 5 yards difference.
Right.
So maybe it's because of that.
Okay.
But I don't know. It's just they ain't really elaborate on that one. But this one here with that rule change of them being able to overturn an incorrect call from a referee, that could go like to your point. My thing is anytime you slow anything down in the NFL, especially on the line, like they always say, there's always holding on the line.
Right.
Those type of calls, but again, they did specify the ref needs to call it. So it's a call like the ref would say holding, then they could go back and look at it. And if it's not holding, they could say, hey, it's not holding. Or to your point, the PIs, man, those PIs, man, are crazy. Because you could slow it down. There's a lot of hand checking, there's a lot of stuff going on. Like sometimes, and I'm not saying like, hey, to let like sometimes you gotta let them play. Like as long as you calling the game fair and hand checking's going on and stuff like that. But when it's a lopsided thing and you're only getting calls on one way, that's where it becomes a little, like unwatchable for me. Like, yo, you clearly see one team getting favored on the calls. But that's the one. Those are the two for me where to your point, like, yo, them PIs and I don't know, man. And then the other one, now to come to think of it, the illegal man downfield. If they call that one when the old offensive lineman was running down and the play still hasn't developed, he has a certain yardage he needs to maintain.
Yeah.
Before it go, the play resumes. A lot of the times they get called with that one. So that one I could see, they call that play, and then the NFL steps in and say, nah, he was cool. Like he was within the yardage. So it's going to be interesting. Those are a lot of the that's the biggest rule change. But in other NFL news, the Jaguars are officially moving to Orlando. I don't know if you heard that one.
I did
which
not.
Which is great if you are an Eagles fan and you want to go on a destination trip and watch the Jags and take your family to Disney or something like that. That's like the perfect, like,
wow,
the ultimate trip there. But the Jaguars are definitely moving to Orlando. I don't know if they're keeping the same name or not because Orlando Jag sounds weird. So I don't know if they're going to do a whole change with that. And none of other NFL rumors, Aaron Rodgers is heavily being considered to become the Denver Broncos quarterback while Bo Nix recovers from his injury. That just dropped. Odell Beckham at the NFL was. You want to talk about that one? No? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'll leave it. I'll leave it.
Odell Beckham at the NFL owners meeting in Arizona met with John Harbaugh on a possible return to the Giants. So be on the lookout for that.
That'd be crazy.
The 18 games for the NFL season, they're revisiting that again. They're still going over that. But the landscape for that is looking like 18 games, 2 bye weeks built in. And in addition to that, each NFL team will have an international game. So that way is across the board is fair. So that will be like, kind of like the cookie cutter for the games. So you'll have, both 9-9 home and away games, but each team will have an international game. Fun fact, Super Bowl this year, the next day, that Monday, a lot of people should have off if you have one of those government jobs because it's President's Day on that following Monday. So that's a fun fact there. And then the one that just dropped like right before we came on, Puka Nacua has entered rehab. So that was the one that I told you that just happened. So he just entered into a drug rehab program. I don't know if you guys saw, in the last 3 weeks, there's been a lot of stuff coming out of LA, as far as like things that he's been involved in and stuff like that, with videos of seeing himself just clearly intoxicated and a lot of things going on. So, again, prayers up for him. Hopefully he could get right and be ready for the season. But that's the NFL news, NFL changes. Your thoughts, Larry?
Yo, well, it makes sense. First off, let's go with the Puka Nacua. It makes sense why that rumor was out there that the Rams were shopping them. Now it all makes sense. Especially, I mean, look, it's funny because we was making a joke, last week about how how the report was that he bit that individual. Like after the argument, then he went ahead and bit her. Which is 100% terrible. Even though we was kind of trying to make a light joke out of the situation, but I mean, it really goes to show that rumors don't just pop up out of nowhere. I mean, there's a reason why a rumor like that was there, because when we heard the rumor that Puka Nacua was sitting there on the trade block, or they're at least talking to people about moving them, we all like, Puka Nacua is like one of the top 5, if not top 10 wide receivers in the league. Everybody should be happy to go ahead and see if they can get their hands on having him on their team. Like, Puka Nacua is an amazing player. But all of a sudden that rumor went ahead and popped up. And I remember the stupidness with this, thank you, with this AJ Brown thing. It was like, oh, would you trade Puka Nacua for AJ Brown? It was like, a part of me was like, if we have to trade AJ Brown, why not try to go ahead and get Puka Nacua? But so it kind of it makes sense that that rumor was there, because the fact that he's really going through something right now. You know what I mean? And to have him being checked in, that's kudos to him to want to do better and want to have better. But I mean, now the rumors all make sense.
Yeah, it's crazy because he's during a contract year too. Like he's due for a new contract. JSN just set the market, and to your point, he's top 5 receiver in the league, and he can really capitalize on getting a huge contract, and all this stuff just started like just happening. So I really don't know, like what's going on with him and stuff like that, man. You just kind of think like you just like, again, we talked about the whole mental health type thing, where he's clearly a superstar in the league, loved by the LA Rams fans, and is one of the top receivers. And here, during the offseason, just making very, very bad decisions where, your team's coming off a loss in the NFC Championship, where you should be grinding and getting right and getting ready for the season. And more importantly, securing that bag. You know what I mean? But meanwhile, you're sitting there like just doing some weird stuff. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Continue, Joel.
Yeah, I think you need a break, but definitely that was like the shocking news. But right before we jumped on, just Puka Nacua, I don't even want to say shocking. I think it's something that had to happen. Hopefully, it was something that to Larry's point, that he wanted to do on his own, to correct. Hopefully, it was a combination of that, mainly that, but hopefully he has some people around him, like his agent or the team or some of his close friends and family that care about him and really encourage them to take that route. So again, prayers up to him. Hopefully he comes out of it on the positive side. And I don't know what little Miriam, shout out to you. I don't know what you're talking about. What, but what's up to you? And shout out to Taya. Just jumped in on IG as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just about to go ahead and mention my IG family. I do see y'all. We see y'all. Lady Leo, we see you. D-Boy, we see you.
You.
Charlie Rock, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. PTG, I can pronounce that one. Good to see you as well. Thank you so much. Thanks all y'all guys for tuning in.
Oh, that's what it was. The Aaron Rodgers thing is on Tire. Tire just put it up. Well, he's not going back to Pittsburgh. So far, Aaron Rodgers hasn't made it clear that he's going to come back to even play.
Shocker.
But like I want to say, like there's 4 hours ago, that's when the news came out that Denver is seriously considering pursuing Aaron Rodgers to be the backfill basically until Bo Nix gets back. So I don't know how true that is, but that's one of the rumors that are out there. So hopefully we see what's up. And what up, the lady Leo? She just said what's up on IG as well. And we are all caught up on IG.
Fantastic. Thanks everybody on IG for tuning in. And of course, our YouTube family popping in and out, Pauls, when it comes to being on the show. Look, we're Philadelphians, right? We have to, take some kind of responsibilities of us being a Philadelphian. And the one thing that I have to take into consideration, especially me being a Philadelphia Eagles fan, and, shout out to Tone for not being here so he don't have to partake in this conversation, because, his words may be straight blasphemous being an ex-Cowboy fan. But
and we have Ty on, so she can chime in. I can't wait.
There we go. It only makes sense that we have this conversation. This Jalen Hurts story that just came out. It started like a day ago, right? I have my take on it. Joel, I'm sure you have your take on it. But all of a sudden now, it was Jalen Hurts that said that he wanted to have the last play in the playoffs. That was basically a 4-way go to the wideouts, which is the same play that our ex-offensive coordinator actually said. And Jalen thought was the right thing to do. And it would end up being a terrible move. So in other words, the media right now is trying to put all the blame on not just our old OC. They want to put the blame on Jalen. And then they also want to put the blame on Jalen when it comes to his I don't want to say that, he was going against Kellen Moore, but supposedly he was being very reluctant when it comes to taking on that offense. And he was being frustrated and frustrating to the team. There's a whole bunch of bullcrap going on right now about my quarterback. Joel, I know you want to say something about it first. I'll let you go ahead and say, and then I'll give my take afterwards because I'm kind of sick.
Man, I just don't know why. Why does this continuously happen? Why does it continuously arises about this thing, man? And it's like, to me, look, man, there was a lot of reports. There's reports that him and the team aren't seeing eye to eye, and a possible breakup during the following season. They're already talking about the following season, whether he plays good or not, or whether he plays and he advances for. It's so many different things. Then all those things, like you said, talks about him not cooperating with the team, him audibly. How you say it? Shit, I don't freaking got the damn word. Say it for me, Larry.
Audibly?
When he calls audibles.
Yeah,
there you go.
He's
audibly out of plays intentionally, apparently. So that to fit his play style and all this stuff like that. So it's so many different things like that that are coming out, but it's just like I just don't know, like who's leaking this stuff out and all this stuff, man. I just don't know, man. I mean, look, here's the deal. The facts are, that this guy, since he's been in the NFL, he hasn't had any stability or structure when it comes to an offensive coordinator. Then, case in point, which is the issue where I've been on record with us having Nick Sirianni as our coach, is that he's a head coach, but he's not a master of the offense, or he's not the master of the defense. So he can't step in and take away one facet of the game. Case in point, 2 years ago when we had a horrible defense, we had fired the defensive coach, get another one. We didn't make the playoffs. Next year, we get a competent OC and a defensive coach. We make the Super Bowl, we lose, all those type things. So anyway, but to my point, so you don't even have a head coach that can run the offense and that's supportive of the quarterback. So again, now you have all different offensive coordinators since he's been in the NFL. So there's no structure, there's no stability. And to me, it's like, you know what I mean, with the rumors of him not wanting to be here, or him and the team not seeing eye to eye, to me, if I'm the quarterback and I'm looking at my workplace environment and I'm coming into work and I'm working with what you give me, the tools that I got to work with. So you got a different offensive coordinator every year where I'm supposed to learn a whole other style playbook, offensive playbook. I need to learn their schemes. And then on top of that, I need to be receptive 100% and can't, retain some of the things that I want. So I can see where there's kind of like a clash of heads there. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, it's just like, man, like, this man has taken us to the Super Bowl twice, won one, lost one, balled out in both of them.
Yep.
As far as on and off the field stuff, like, yeah, he might not be everybody's cup of tea as far as like the people that go out, turn up, and do all those type of things. But as far as like leading by example and doing things, for the community, doing things for the youth, he's a stand-up citizen for that. That's for sure. Nobody can take away from that. And I can only imagine if he had any, one of them chinks in his armor or something like that, like where someone could point that out and be like, yo, he doesn't really conduct himself right off the field. And, it'd just be another thing to talk about Jalen about. But, it just, to me, it's just bothersome for me, bro. I'm just like, come on, bro. Like, we still haven't even gotten to the draft to build some, add some pieces around this team. You just got a whole new offensive coordinators and head quarterback coach and all this stuff. You know what I mean? And they're coming, with high honors from the teams that they came from. So we're gonna see what happens with that. But with all these rumors already swirling and things that are going on right now, and it's coming from good sources, so we're gonna see what happens. But I mean, it's just like, come on, man. Like, this is I'm personally over it already, and we're not even, again, like I said, the draft's not even here.
Family, it always feels as though if there's any team for the media all over the nation, it's not just Philadelphia, all over the nation, if there was a team that everybody wants to just dump on, it's always the Philadelphia Eagles. And then they always want to dump stupid stuff when it comes to division on the Philadelphia Eagles. Here's the thing, right? And I keep saying this, but I'm going to say it for real. Now, this time with no hatred. You have a quarterback that's known to step up when the game is needed. Like you said, Joel, 2 Super Bowls this man went to. Says 2 Super Bowls this man went to would have been the MVP of both games because he was the one that balled out. He was the better quarterback on the field in both those games. I don't care what nobody say. He was the better quarterback in both those games. Would have won the MVP for both games, right? So he made the 2 Super Bowls, which is the top number of all quarterbacks in all Philadelphia history. No other quarterback made it to 2 Super Bowls as a starting quarterback in this franchise history. No other quarterback except for this one, right? So 2 Super Bowl appearances. Lamar can't say that. Josh can't say that. Burrow can't say that. Prescott can't say that. Herbert can't say that. I can keep on going. Aaron Rodgers can't say that. Let's go back. Drew Bledsoe can't say that. Brett Favre can't say that. Randall Cunningham can't say that. And I love Randall. You have all these other teams, all these other quarterbacks that's out here over the time. They have their own tinks in their armor, like you said, Joel. But for some reason, they always want to go ahead and call some kind of division when it comes to my quarterback and this squad. So you can't get no more traction on AJ. That rumor is now falling down. There's no longer in the midst of having a good conversation no more. So now you have to go straight to Jalen.
Yeah, they're talking about how we possibly drafting another quarterback during the draft, like early. And that's my thing, is like, for everyone that really is not a fan of Jalen, you could say that's the Eagles fan, because obviously, I can see why other people aren't Eagles fans. But if you're an Eagles fan, you want, like, I just really want to know, like, what's your plan B? Because, like, I'm cool with having Jalen as my quarterback. That's just me personally as an Eagles fan, and knowing that in the biggest stage, like, he's going to show up. He's going to prepare himself for the biggest game, and he's going to ball out. So you're going to have a real hard time convincing me, like, straight up, like, anybody in the NFL. Like, the only one that I would say, like, oh, yeah, Patrick Mahomes, okay. I will do that one. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not going to be crazy, and I would definitely do that. But anybody else is like, yo, like, all right, who are you talking about specifically? Maybe Josh Allen? Maybe? Because he really hasn't had top receivers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You want to say Lamar, but, we talked about it on this podcast. Every time it comes for, it's like, what can go wrong will go wrong. You know what I mean? And Joe Burrow, he gets hurt too much. So it's like, so who are you, like, who you want to replace Jalen is my thing. It's like, all right, you don't like him. All right, what's the next plan? You know what I mean? So it's like, that's the frustrating part for me. It's like everybody wants to say something and talk about it. Oh, he's really not it. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. Bro, we won one, lost one. Balled out in both. Like, what more do you want for this guy? You know what I mean? Yeah, he's not like, me personally, I think is something like, like, he's just not like I don't want to say not like a likable dude, because I really haven't heard anybody say nothing too bad about him, like teammate wise. Because they were saying, like, they don't like his body language and all this stuff, and he's not receptive, and all this weird stuff is coming out. But I'm just like, yo, like, all right, what's really the alternative? Like, I just think the guy's bothered. He's like, bro, like, AJ acting like he don't want to be here after we went to the 2 Super Bowls, won one, lost one, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, and then you just see how the organization is treating you without having stability around you. And, I personally think he just don't bang with Sirianni, like, honestly. And that's probably part of it. So
here's the thing, right?
We would never know.
Yeah, we won't. Until Jalen talks later on. And the thing is, with Jalen, just his personality, he's not going to talk. Right. He's not going to. If he's upset or anything, we will never know. We will never know. He'll just go ahead and put his head down and go ahead and get back to work. But here's the thing, right? A lot of times, and it's unfortunate. I'm gonna say it's unfortunate. Jalen doesn't have a whole lot of stability when it comes to his offensive coordinators. It's because he got them all jobs. He got them all jobs. If it wasn't for Jalen Hurts and what he did all these years, every single one of them, except for 2 of them, except for 2, I can say 2. You got Mr. Johnson, and we got our lovely guy from last year. I'm not even want to say his name until after a year after he's gone. But those 2 guys, those are the only ones we can actually say. Everybody else, they got promoted because of Jalen Hurts. Promoted. Jalen Hurts. Right. Jalen Hurts is going to win for you if everything is in play. If everything is in place correctly, he's going to win and then get you a higher paid job. I'm pretty sure, if I'm correct, Kellen Moore didn't get promoted with Dak Prescott. Kellen Moore didn't get promoted when it come to Mr. Herbert. Kellen Moore didn't get any of those type of promotions with any of those quarterbacks. All of a sudden, he has 1 year. Now, granted, Saquon helps. Just saying.
That's what I was going to tell you, because that's the second part of it. Well, the Eagles have A.J. Brown. They have Saquon. They have Devontae Smith. So if he didn't, this is how people think. So if he didn't have them, he wouldn't be shit. Like, hold up. The point is, he's doing what he needs to do, but you're trying to say he's really not nobody because he has these people around him. Make it make sense to me. I mean, look, last time I checked, we won the Super Bowl. Very happy, very exciting time for us. We were all at Dimensions. You remember. But anyway,
it was a good time.
That's my thing. Is I get what you're trying to say. If you really didn't have these guys around, could you imagine Lamar on this team? Could you imagine Joe Burrow? Yeah, Joe Burrow would get hurt and Tanner McKee would be our quarterback. That's what will happen. You know what I mean? So it's just man, I really hate this. I hate this topic. I hate it so bad.
So much. Here's the thing, right? All right. So Joe Montana is considered one of the greatest quarterbacks that ever played this game. He played with the greatest wide receiver that ever played. He played with now a Hall of Famer running back and Roger Craig. He had Mr. John Taylor as his other wideout, which would have been the number one in any other team. Let's go by the whole entire offense that was there. And then on top of that, when I look over on the other side of that 49ers team, you still have Ronnie Lott. You can go through all the names of that 49ers team. Do we all say Joe Montana wasn't all that great because look at all the talent that he had? Okay. Let's knock this thing home. Hey, Cowboys fans, just a stupid question for you. Was Troy Aikman great? I mean, he did have one of the greatest running backs that ever played the game after Barry Sanders, of course. Sorry. Still have a Hall of Famer wide receiver. Hall of Fame, well, it should be a Hall of Fame fullback. Hall of Fame tight end. Hall of Fame offensive line. Then on top of all that, when y'all were starting to struggle, all of a sudden you had prime time to go ahead and show up and be on your squad as well. Was Troy Aikman still trash? Or was he great in y'all eyes? There's no smoke when it comes to any of these other quarterbacks that have great talent around them. But all of a sudden, now mind you, if you look at this Eagles team that's right now, in all honesty, besides the offensive line, can you say that all the rest of the Eagles' weapons are Hall of Famers? I can't say all the rest of them are Hall of Famers except for maybe Saquon. He's the one that's kind of projected to go in that direction. Maybe Devontae, because of his college career with his professional career, can be looked at as a Hall of Famer, right? Obviously the offensive line is all going to be great. They keep on going the way they are. Hell, I think Mailata may actually be a Hall of Famer if he keeps on in this trajectory. So therefore, besides the O-line and Saquon, there's no other Hall of Famers. But nobody's going to talk about all the Hall of Famers those with these other quarterbacks and all the talent that was around them, and that diminishes the quarterback. That's garbage. Garbage. Sorry.
Yeah, man, I can never understand it, man. And, to your point, even Dallas right now, they got CeeDee Lamb and Pickens. So it's you got two receivers over there. Javonte Williams was one of the top running backs this year as well. He was top 4 or 5, actually, in the league with rushing and all that stuff. So definitely that's another team, but then they're going to say, oh, but they don't have no defense. So look, man, I'm over that topic already, man. Definitely a lot of comments on IG though. I don't know if you want to pull them up from Taya. Chiming in on the conversation, but man, this is definitely it is disheartening for me because there's certain things that just keep coming up and they just don't go away. It's like, yo, like, you know what I mean? It's just like one thing after another. It's like all these other teams in the NFL got so many other problems and you don't hear none of this stuff happen.
No.
It's just kind of like over here, they just keep prying and trying to make something, out of nothing.
All the time. Tia said, yeah, the Super Bowl MVP this year was not the quarterback.
Right.
100% right, Ty. 100% right. So
yeah, Kenneth Walker.
Now, it's funny. So you're Kenneth Walker, MVP, Super Bowl, no longer with Seattle. Now, one time have I heard anyone say that, hey, the Seahawks are going to have a horrible year because their Super Bowl MVP is no longer on their squad. I haven't heard it yet. But let that have been Saquon that won the MVP for the Eagles, and let Saquon have like an off season. You know what I mean? Let something happen to the Saquon. Then be like, oh, it's like Jalen can't do it. Like, why all the smoke all the time for Jalen? It does not make sense to me. All he does is win. And if you look at the man's resume, let's go from college all the way until right now. I guarantee you that 90+% of the quarterbacks that played in the past and play now will want to have that resume. Just saying. I'm just saying. Heck, Jalen got more championships, college and professional, than most NFL teams. This NFL teams that haven't won anything. And Jalen been to 2 championships within the last 4 or 5 years. Makes no sense. They're just trying to cause division amongst this team for whatever reason, because they already know that this is going to be really tough to kind of defeat this team without them not collapsing on themselves. So they're trying to cause a rift on the inside of the facility so there can be a collapse on the outside of the facility. And I think that's how they lost last year. It was a collapse on the inside that caused the outside to actually show up the way they did. My quarterback is the MVP of the Super Bowl. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, it's how I mentioned it. She also mentioned that he doesn't play the QB position how people want the position to be played. That's always been an issue. Yep, that's definitely the issue. And also wanted AJ to leave, and he's not. So that's what she put on it. That she wanted AJ. He wanted AJ to leave, and he's not. So I still think they got some handshake deal for June. I think it's June 2nd or 3rd. I know it's around my grandson's birthday.
June,
that's how I know the date. I know it's around there.
Yeah, saying June 2nd is when it doesn't hit the cap. It's hard. Pause.
Yeah. So I think definitely they got something in the works. And there's also rumors that we're gonna be the team. You know how they do team practices?
It already isn't. It's already locked in. It's happening.
So it's New England, ironically.
Correct.
So that's
go figure.
Right. It's like, hey, come practice with us. So I don't know, man. I think it would be good for both sides, honestly, at this point. And I got an AJ Brown jersey. We got Hollywood Brown. He chose number 0. That didn't happen. I was hoping he took 11, but it's cool because I'm Jay Brown. You already know that. People like, what? Hold on, Jay Brown. Hold on. I don't know what he's talking about.
That's more of a GNT after hour type of answer. But
I don't even think Ty knows that story. I don't even think Ty knows the Jay Brown story. She will be the only one that will know.
Probably so. And I don't think she does, actually. I don't think we talked about that
I think
one.
that was like early. That was one of the first episodes. Maybe not. I think she might. She might.
Well, we'll see. Hey, Ty, if you do, just like message me later if you actually know what he's talking about. But nonetheless, man, this like we had to talk about that. Us as Philadelphia Eagles fans, minus Tone being here. Much love, Tone. Like we had to talk about that one. That's going to piss me off into the high ends, man. I'm already sick of it already, but it's cool. I mean, as Philadelphia Eagles fans, we're going to run into that, but I will say this, and Howie, I still trust. So I can't wait for him to something miraculous is going to happen, something crazy is going to happen. And the whole entire NFL is like, I can't believe how Roseman did this again. Why the league keep allowing him to do this stuff? Yeah, I can't wait because it's going to happen.
He was sitting there. They highlighted him talking to the GM from Cleveland.
Yes, sir.
Man, that Myles Garrett thing makes so much sense.
Now,
why are you letting that man die? I don't want to say die, but his career died. Like he's so good, like he has to be on a competitor, bro. It's just bad product for the NFL. How you got that dominant player on that team? It's just bad. Just trade him. Do a solid. Just trade him to the Eagles, though. Of course.
You see that guy that's right there?
Yeah. What we did for Green Bay.
Correct. He could do that with the Eagles. Showing up, bro. Yeah. We got you. Lockers warm.
Ty, I'll tell you the story one day. We're running out of time today.
Yeah, you're gonna tell the story right now. But nonetheless, last thing that we want to go ahead and talk about this real quick because we are approaching the end of the episode. It has everything to do. I'm not going to do the background. Do I have this real quick? I do. We want to talk about these guys real quick. Just real quick. Just real quick. And this is usually the time when, us sports fans start to get sad. Because when the baseball bat starts swinging, that's when, the sadness of the NFL is gone. But it's okay. It's okay. This Phil's team, I'm really curious, Joel, because you are a Phillies fan through and through. Every single time, if it's not a GNT hat on, it's a Phillies hat on. So you are a true fan through and through. How do you feel about this Phil's team as the season begins? Because I tell you, I am up and down right now.
Man, 2 days ago, I was on. I don't even want to say that. What I was going to say because of a whole mental health thing and stuff like that. But I was in a pretty bad place. Let's just say that the last couple days with us picking up the 2 wins, now we're 3-3. I'm trying to, come back, digress, back to reality, and say, look, it's the start of the season. But it started off horrible, and and specifically, like the heart of the lineup. At one point, the best hitter or one of the top 2 hitters were not any of the people in the top 4. It was the rookie Crawford had the most hits, tied with Bone. So it was very concerning. And then, again, like we got issues. I don't want to say issues, but Nola's not looking like Nola from before. We really need him to pull through. But it was looking bad, but again, we're 3-3 right now. We got 2 wins in a row. We're headed to Colorado, so we're gonna see the first road trip, see what happens. But it is a long season. Like I said last week, man, I'm waiting until September to see where this team's at, because that's where we're at. This team needs to fast forward all the way to that point and produce and just come to play. Don't forget the bets, because that's what's been happening in the last couple of years in October. So
Absolutely.
Hopefully we can get it there and they can make some noise. But right now, the way it started, it was shaky. Again, the last 2 games they won. So, shout out to them. Hopefully is, the kickstart they need. They're going on a road trip so they could build some team chemistry and all that type of stuff. And today was a walk-off. It was down freaking 3 runs heading in. Sosa came up big as far as hitting a RBI. Got an RBI hit to tie, and then Crawford first career walk-off. So, and he had 3 hits today.
So here's the thing. And first thing first, DJ, good to see you, man. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much. This Phillies team. Oh, and let me drop this because we're not talking about Hurts no more. This Phillies team. The biggest thing that I can say about this team is basically the youth, man. The youth. Like, thank goodness we starting to see the younger players that they was like coveting and making sure that they kept like away from everybody. They're starting to now play. They was talking about Painter for how long? And the young man pitched a gem yesterday.
Listen, they was talking about him for 2 years already. I thought it was an actual painter that they had in the clubhouse painting. Like, they're like, oh, this guy's painter. He's going to be good. He's going to be good. But, man, he came out on, I think his game was on, when was it? Monday he played or yesterday? It was yesterday's one.
It was yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. So he came, man, he did his thing, man. He came out, he had some strikeouts. I'm just happy he's looking like who everyone was talking about. So we definitely.
Red number 1, finger in red number 1. It's like to have Painter like come in and do what he did. Have Crawford come in and do what he did. Now there's and there's still more out there. I mean, they was talking about Crawford for like 5 years, man. They was talking about Crawford for a long time and how they did not want to like lose him in any kind of trades and stuff like that. Thank goodness they held on to at least some of these pieces and now let them go ahead and develop and blossom. Can you imagine if Painter does become that ace and you have Wheeler, Painter, and then whatever happened to Nola is whatever. He's so up and down. But it's good to know that we will have another player that's there that we can kind of depend on. That's young, and hopefully he'll have that experience as he goes to actually like not get choked, not get choked up when the time get tough. You know what I mean? So I mean, I'm excited for the youth of this team. If I can be excited for anything, it's the youth.
Yeah, definitely. And Crawford, man, his dad was a phenomenal player. So Carl Crawford, man, he was for Tampa Bay, man. He was good, man. So
absolutely.
Hopefully, he keeps it up, man. But again, 3 hits today, walk off. When he came through, man, and I think the team rallied around that big time. So again, heading into the road trip, we're gonna see what happens.
Absolutely. Hey, look, that's GIR. Thanks, DJ. Probably explain to me what the heck that means. But we're right at the end of the show. Folks like DJ, folks like Sarah, folks like the other gentleman we had earlier. Anyway, every single person that showed up tonight, we appreciate every single one of y'all. Our IG was popping as always with Taya, with Superman, with Arthur T, with Miss Taya, Natural Beauty. So many folks. Rosario, I see Rosario on here as well. Like it's so many folks. We appreciate every single one of y'all for tuning in tonight. Man, what a time that we had. What a time that we had. We appreciate y'all guys. Joel, hold on. There we go. Bird game.
Hey, listen, thank you guys for tuning in on another episode of GNT Sports Talk. again, like Larry mentioned, it is Autism Awareness Month. We do have 20% off going on right now on our GNT pop-up shop. In addition to that, 10% of the proceeds will be donated to a nonprofit organization that supports autism awareness. So go to the GN pop-up shop, QR code at the top of the screen. Bird Gang, checking out. Thank you. Have a good night.
Hey, look, we appreciate once again every single one of y'all for tuning in and being there with us. Where would we be without y'all, guys? We appreciate y'all so much. Since we talked about the pop-up shop, what exactly are we talking about? Oh, we're talking about this. Go ahead and watch.
Hey, yo, chef.
And I'm feeling good. I got a feeling I'm on my way to make a couple millions. They done see all the hard work in the basement. They gonna see me shine bright from the ceiling. I got a feeling some gon' like it, some gon' hate it, most gon' love it. They say, you think you should boozy? I say, no, bitch, I'm bubble. I got a feeling I do what I want, ayy. I do what you can't. If you ain't putting gas in my tank or cash in my bank, I don't give a fuck what you think. I got a feeling I am the one, no, I'll never be second. And when I die, I won't just die. Cause when I die as a legend. I got a feeling.
To my people, all y'alls, we appreciate y'all so much once again. Thank y'all for tuning in. Until next week, the GNT crew, we'll see you then. Please, God bless y'all. Stay tuned and stay safe. Look forward to seeing y'all next time.